are just being forced into digital, and there was no particular reason for it. So likewise with the water, people are just getting boxed into these things.
Oh yeah.
So
there's no consultation, and I'll tell you, like, one of my issues with the fluoride is the fact that next year they're bringing water charges, and they want to install these water meters at the expense of everyone.
Yeah.
And I think in a society where, you know, you have to be held accountable for what you're providing to somebody. Now, if you're a business person and you're providing me a service, and that whatever product you're giving me is going to cause me harm, then you will be held accountable. But what's happening here is they're passing the buck the whole time in the government. Say, like Declan Waugh put in his report to all different departments in the government in February this year, 70 copies in total, and he said basically they're all, you know, it's the environment and health. It's got nothing to do with them.
Okay, so can you tell us a little bit about the health risks? Now, I have the report. I think this is the one from Enviro. That's Declan Waugh's group.
Declan Waugh, yeah.
So Declan Waugh runs Enviro. This is just a private operation. It's not a public sponsored company or anything like that, is it?
No, he's an independent environmental scientist.
Yeah.
And we interviewed him last week. We have it up on our website, just the interview with him. And he was basically saying he looked into it. He never thought anything of it.
Right. And so what are the health risks around having fluoride in the water?
Well, the main ones that he's come out with from, like, he has reviewed over 1,200 peer-reviewed studies, and the main health risks that he came out with were the neurological impacts. Just to expand on that, he was saying that, like, when he looked into health stats in Ireland, that we actually have twice the global average of neurological disease, such as dementia, Alzheimer's, epilepsy, ADD, autism, all things that are affecting, you know, the brain chemistry. And when I looked into the kind of chemistry of fluoride, then you see that fluoride will actually permeate the blood-brain barrier, meaning that the membrane that's protecting our brains from environmental toxins, the fluoride compound is actually opening that up, and it's allowing any heavy metals to be able to be uptaked into the brain. So that's why you see the rise, you know, you can see a kind of direct correlation that we have, like, the national or the global average is 6.3%, and Ireland is like 17.3%, which is off the scales. And also another one was cardiovascular disease, and then different skin disorders like eczema, psoriasis, and also osteoporosis and thyroid dysfunction.
Right, okay,
so
a long list. Yeah, there's a list in that report as well. In 2000, the NHS York Review concluded that the high-quality study that they were unable to identify one high-quality study to show that the practice is effective or safe. In 2006, the USA National Research Council Scientific Committee had come up with a comprehensive report documented the growing weight of toxicological and epidemiological, I can't even pronounce these words, evidence identifying clear public health risks associated with the addition to fluoride to public drinking water supply. So you've got all of these reports here by independent bodies and by other bodies, scientific bodies, and so on and so forth. Now, obviously, there's a number of bodies around the world. Just because one or two or even more bodies say that there's a health risk doesn't necessarily mean that there is a health risk. But let's assume that there is a health risk. Why would the government continue to ignore that? And what benefit is there in? Okay, they mentioned the whole thing about preventing dental decay, but as I said, that's a sledgehammer to crack a nut. What is in it for the government to keep this in the water system? Well,
to me, it makes absolutely no sense. And, you know, we've had dealings with politicians over this, and, you know, the kind of consensus, well, nobody would admit to this, but my feeling would be it's vested interest, i.e. money, like follow the money trail. There has to be monetary, you know, somebody's gaining here with this, but I don't know. Obviously, it's going to be very difficult to find that one out.
Yeah.
But the whole thing, you know, I'm not concerned in digging up what people exactly are doing. My whole concern is just, look, the rest of Europe aren't doing this. In 2006, this hydrofluoric acid was actually, it used to be used as a wood preservative within the EU, and it actually was banned as a wood preservative in 2006 under an EU directive because there was no toxicological data to show it was safe for human health.
Yeah.
And they're still adding it to Ireland's drinking water despite that fact.
Yeah.
And no, the main thing is here that people are not consenting, you know, and it's like, it's just another thing, you know, that we are being this is being forced upon us whether we like it or not. And even if you take steps to avoid it like I do, I filter my water with a reverse osmosis. But even then, you know, all the foods in Ireland are being processed with this. So this is another issue. You know, you go out to a restaurant, it's cooked your food is cooked in the tap water. So it's next or near impossible to avoid it. So my whole thing is, it's not safe. It's been in the water now 50 years. The Irish government, under the Health Act 1960, one of the requirements was that it had to be tested for safety for human health.
Yeah.
There has never been one safety test conducted.
Right. Now, Aisling, you said that 98% of the EU are not doing it, and the Germans stopped doing it for ethical reasons as much as anything else. What countries within the EU are fluoridating the water?
Within the EU, or the UK, there's 10% of the UK.
10% of the UK?
Yeah, and then the Basque region in Spain, and that's all.
The Basques, 10% of the UK and Ireland, we're the only people fluoridating our water.
Yeah, and it's not in the north of Ireland, it's just in the south, the Republic of Ireland.
Good grief. And how come 10% of the UK is doing it? Why isn't the other 90% doing it?
Well, that's very we were kind of a bit concerned about that as well.
Yeah.
We're saying, why 10%? So Declan has been doing further research into that, and he was saying that only in the past few weeks he came out with that in the areas that they're fluoridating in the UK, that in those areas there's actually factories that are, say, dealing with aluminium and phosphates, whatever, that they're actually emitting fluorides into the environment. It's almost like they're putting this into the water.
It's like they're polluting the water supply. Okay, now, Aisling, before we let you go, can you tell us two things? What are you guys in the campaign against fluoridating the water doing? And then what can people do in their daily lives if they want to take fluoride out of the water?
Okay. Well, in our campaign, the Girl Against Fluoride is called, and there's a number of people involved in that. It's not just me.
Yeah.
Our main issue, or our main role here, is to raise as much public awareness possibly nationwide. So we've been going all over the place, different events and giving talks, and basically just trying to we're, I suppose, a kind of unique campaign insofar as we're not going around with placards or anything. We're kind of doing things more so outside the box.
Sure.
But we want people then, if they see that they like what we're doing, you can go onto the website, girlagainstfluoride.com, and then we're on Facebook as well.
Right. So you're leading a social media campaign.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So the whole thing is just to get other people on board. And, it's not just our campaign. Like, anyone can get involved. If
and the hope is to lobby the government, campaign people who can make decisions to get them to reverse this and take the fluoride out of the water.
Well, yeah, but I think the government have been lobbied to death at this point.
Yes.
I think that this really is going to be a kind of people's issue in terms of it's going to be getting as many people around the country on board. Yeah. So
what can people do to do something at a local level, and then also to minimise the amount of fluoride in their water?
Well, at a local level, I would say, we just need to get people to alert their neighbours, their friends, their family, colleagues, just to get them on, getting them aware of the campaign.
Yeah.
And also, because this is feeding into, I'm taking a court case, which will be coming up. Well, our main thing is to get as much public backing before that happens.
Yes, very good.
And then that will be
money.
Going in. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And so how people can then protect themselves is they can install a reverse osmosis filter.
Reverse osmosis filter, okay.
Yeah, so there's many, you can Google that anyway, and there's a few companies around Ireland. Like the one I used was Celtic Water Solutions. And that has to be put into your water system? It's not just a simple jug you can get? No, it has to be plumbed in. Yeah, right. or the other one, say, if you don't want to do that, or it's too expensive, or you're in rental accommodation, you can get a water distillation unit. You can get that online. And or if not, some people can access well water. Yeah, get it straight from the well. Okay, that's great. Aisling, how can people find out more about you, or how can they contact you? Yeah, so if you want to contact, or you want to get on board and you've known about this issue and you'd really like to, get your teeth into this with us, you can find us online, which is thegirlagainstfluoride.com, and then just look us up on Facebook, which is just The Girl Against Fluoride. Right. Brilliant stuff. Yeah. Aisling Fitzgibbon, The Girl Against Fluoride on Facebook, and thegirlagainstfluoride.com. That's where you can get all of your information. Thank you very much for joining us this morning. Okay, thank you. Bye-bye. Bye.